This is the ultimate camera comparison video of Pixel 7 Pro versus iPhone 14 Pro. Hi everyone, this is JD, your gadget review friend. Welcome back to Gadget Rev Now. Again, this is the time of the year where Google and Apple launches their new flagship phones, and I think this is more for marketing strategy, closing the holiday season where people buy gifts for others and for themselves. And these phones are not cheap, so for consumers like us, we need to know what's best for us. The iPhone 14 Pro was released last month with triple camera setup with the big main sensor of 1/1.28 and two other sensors boasting better low light capability. We also have the selfie camera with OIS and autofocus for better images. Well, Pixel 7 Pro just got released a few days back and a triple camera setup too with ever slightly smaller main sensor of 1/1.31, almost the same actually, but boasting computational photography on all three lenses. We also have the selfie camera with pixel shift technology that increases the resolution of the images. These are featured-packed camera phones. Let the battle begin. This is the audio test of Pixel 7 Pro versus iPhone 14 Pro. I will talk a little bit for you to hear the differences. I'm glad that we have these two phones before winter season so you can see all the colors. And today we're here outside near the road so you can hear all the background noise. Let's check the audio of these two phones. Check 1 2 3, check 1 2 3. This is the audio that's coming out of Pixel 7 Pro. And check 1 2 3, check 1 2 3. This is the audio that's coming out of iPhone 14 Pro. Let's start with the audio test, and frankly speaking, both of them have the same clarity and loudness, but because of the speech enhancement of Pixel 7 Pro, it effectively blocks the background noise. For me personally, I like the audio of Pixel 7 Pro. Next is cinematic blur versus cinematic mode. Crazy how these two phones now have depth effect on the video. Pixel 7 Pro is doing a great job on this, but only in full HD. There's no 4K. Well, you can see the clarity and details on my face because iPhone 14 Pro can shoot 4K. Cinematic mode for me is not gimmicky. For vlogging, this is pretty good considering how compact these two phones are. Next is active mode versus action mode, and this is Pixel 7 offering active mode. I think it's pretty good. Well, we can definitely see the difference with iPhone 14 Pro. This is like gimbal type stabilization. It is super smooth without those sudden shift when you pan the footage. It's still under the discussion of active versus action mode. Earlier, it's like a parkour. Now this is stabilization when running. And this is Pixel 7 Pro. While this is iPhone 14 Pro, action mode is good for those heavy type jumping and rolling movement. But for running, I mean, can you see the difference? Next is color profile and saturation, and iPhone 14 Pro has more contrast and punchier colors, the reds, the blues, and the greens. Pixel 7 Pro is natural looking, but at the same time, the exposure and dynamic range is great. Like on this photo, it's an HDR look. Again, I shot a little bit more inconsistently. iPhone 14 Pro is punchier, but the yellows on Pixel 7 Pro shines a little bit. You can hardly see the difference. It is very nice in fall photography. I'm particularly amazed with the 5x optical zoom of Pixel 7 Pro. Normally, Android phones will suck on the optical zoom, but not the Pixel 7 Pro. It is good as the two other lenses, and that goes the same for iPhone 14 Pro. It only has 3x optical zoom though. Next is 4K 30 FPS, and Pixel 7 Pro has great stabilization. I'm using the standard stabilization. The colors is punchier and the exposure is tad brighter. While iPhone 14 Pro has great colors, but more toned down even the exposure, I like this better actually compared to Pixel 7 Pro. Videos you create with this looks more natural. Next is flaring, and I think with my experience with these tests, Pixel 7 Pro struggled a little bit controlling the flare. It also has this pinkish flare that is sometimes distracting, although iPhone 14 Pro has this bluish flare though. Checking all three lenses, the ultra-wide lens is the best for both phones, and again, distracting flare on Pixel 7 Pro's optical zoom. Next, let's check who manages the highlights better, and here you can see if we zoom in outside the window, Pixel 7 Pro still shows the roof, while iPhone 14 Pro is all blown out. Next is dynamic range, and if there's one thing I love about the Pixel phones, they're good at what they do, great images. The exposure on Pixel 7 Pro is better compared to iPhone 14 Pro. Next is 4K 30 FPS ultra-wide video, and Pixel 7 Pro, like the main sensor, has great colors. Again, a tad brighter in exposure, but at the end of this run, there will be autofocusing issue. Watch. And what I like about iPhones are they're also good with what they do. Videos, colors are great but not overexposed, great autofocus, and I'm more confident shooting videos with iPhone 14 Pro because of the autofocus. Next is close focus, and both of them has macro mode, so this is a tie for me. Next is sharpness, and both phones are tack sharp. iPhone 14 Pro is applying a little bit of sharpness, but good news Pixel fans, the fringing issue on Pixel 6 and 6 Pro is now fixed on the Pixel 7 Pro. That is something we can all celebrate this year. The 5x optical zoom video is a win for Pixel 7 Pro. You can zoom into the subject, which, given the situation, you cannot get close to. Apple should upgrade the 3x optical zoom next year. This is the slow motion test of Pixel 7 Pro versus iPhone 14 Pro side by side. Next is details, and the 50 megapixel and 48 respectively gives both phones great detailed images. Going to the portrait mode non-human subject, the portrait mode on iPhone 14 Pro has wider field of view. So if I zoom in with my feet and get closer, I will get more compression and blur. Going to the portrait mode, the face retouching feature of Pixel 7 Pro gives more details and contrast to the subject. It is flattering at the same time full of details. Remember, for the longest, all Android phones will smoothen the face and put whiter complexion. Pixel 7 Pro is true to life colors, more detailed but still flattering. On the selfie mode, I tried a little bit of challenging shots here, and in low light you can see Pixel 7 Pro cuts the subject better. Interesting find. Next is selfie 4K 30 FPS, and both of them has great stabilization. Again, tendencies, right? Brighter exposure on Pixel 7 Pro. And iPhone 14 Pro has the same look but is more natural. You can definitely vlog on both of these phones. Next is night shot, and Pixel 7 Pro is still keeping the crown this year for best night shot performer. Colors and exposure are great. iPhone 14 Pro is darker, noisier, and mushy, checking all three lenses. And ironically, iPhone 14 Pro is keeping the crown this year as well on better video low light, exposure, and noise is better. This is the rear camera of Pixel 7 Pro. And this is the rear camera of the iPhone 14 Pro. And lastly, versatility. Both has wide, ultra-wide, macro lens with a gimmicky 2x digital crop, but only Pixel 7 Pro has 5x optical zoom. So what is Gadget Rev Now's verdict? Pixel 7 Pro or iPhone 14 Pro? These are two camera-centric phones with polarizing strengths and weaknesses. Let's do a recap. The Google Pixel 7 Pro has better noise cancellation and audio, cooler white balance, natural-looking photos, manages the highlights better, better dynamic range and exposure, better portrait shots, better night shots, and 5x optical zoom. While the Apple iPhone 14 Pro has better resolution in cinematic mode, action mode has better stabilization, warmer white balance, more saturated photos, manage the flaring better, better autofocus on video, and better low-light videos. This is the ultimate camera comparison videos of these two phones. If you're in dying need of the greatest phone with video recording capability, nothing beats the iPhone 14 Pro yet. For vlogging, content creation, low-light videos like parties, dinner dates, and some crazy parkour ideas, I'm confident with iPhone 14 Pro. Pixel 7 Pro closes the gap in videos, and I strongly feel that Google's computational photography is miles away of the competition. If you want to save a few $100s and if you're a photographer first, then video second kinda guy, I will save the money because I think Pixel 7 Pro is worth it. For me personally, I think this is the best and most affordable true flagship phone outside other Chinese brands this year. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will continue to compare these two phones in our channel, maybe the battery and the speed test next, so stay tuned. And as always, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in the next one.